Koinant, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And when you're prepping, don't forget to get a bunch of these candles, and you need firelighters. Okay, why am I talking about candles? Well, I have some information which is unverified, but the source is pretty damn good. And that is that there's going to be a huge problem at Eskom in the next few weeks. And again, look, this is unsubstantiated, but it makes a lot of sense. The background is that the supply of coal that Eskom have is only going to last a few weeks. And with the lockdown, the coal mines are locked down, everything else is locked down. Once those supplies run out, and the ANC haven't considered this option, how are they going to keep the power stations going? So I'm just saying that this is information that I've received. Time will tell whether it's valid or not, but I'm just putting it out there. And that's why I'm saying to people, please, get yourself a bunch of candles. I've got them. And don't forget the firelighters. Absolutely imperative you have the firelighters. Okay, now let's look at what's happening in South Africa. Okay, we now have the coronavirus confirmed in Alexandra. We've already had it confirmed in Mitchell's Plain, Khayelitsha, now Alexandra. So it's moving into the townships. And we've talked about the townships being the Achilles heel of this whole lockdown process, because people live cheek and jowl in shacks, 5 or 6 families sometimes in a shack. There's no way they can keep the social distance. So one person gets infected, bang, it's explosive, especially with HIV and TB there. All right, let me just tell you what's happening here. Let me add a bit of meat to the bone. Alan Wind released a breakdown of COVID-19 cases in the Western Cape on Sunday, revealing that Khayelitsha had become the first township in South Africa to record an infection. More than 300 cases have now been recorded in the province, which also saw the first death linked to the illness in South Africa. Western Cape Health Minister Noma French Mbombo has reminded residents of the province that wearing a mask and gloves provides little defense against infection. The minister has urged everyone to wash their hands frequently using water and soap during a 20-second scrub. The Western Cape government is troubled by the alarming spread of the virus across the province and has committed itself to taking appropriate action to protect its residents by tracking COVID-19 cases and ensuring isolation and 14-day quarantines for those showing mild symptoms of the disease. So the story is that the virus is now spreading into the townships, and as I said, they're a powder keg. It's going to be a catastrophe in there. I just don't even want to know what's going to happen. But I think during April, that'll become self-evident. Now, those who were singing Corona and jumping on cars and hugging and carrying on as if the coronavirus could only ever infect the white people, they're going to get a huge wake-up call. But one of the most disastrous things that's happened, guys, this is really, really bad, is that you know that ship that docked in Durban during that transition period? Well, someone's turned up being coronavirus positive a few days after that ship docked. And of course, now there's a huge scramble to try and find over 3,000 people scattered around South Africa who could be carrying the virus and not even know it. Let me give you more meat to the bone. Health authorities will have to work around the clock to track the more than 3,000 people who were on board the cruise vessel the MSC Orchestra, which left Durban on March the 13th for a 3-day cruise to Mozambique after a passenger tested positive for COVID-19. MSC cruise spokesperson Ross Falk said they were informed by the Director of Port Health on Friday. Since then, the cruise liner has sent out an alert to all 3,337 people, including crew members who were on the ship which returned to Durban on March the 16th. 3,337 potential carriers of the coronavirus walking around South Africa not knowing they've got it. Falk said the passengers had tested positive 5 days after returning home. The test results were officially confirmed by the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, NICD, and communicated to the MSC on Friday. The passengers had not shown any symptoms when going through the medical and travel history screening that all passengers and crew go through prior to embarking on a cruise. She also did not report any symptoms to the ship's onboard medical staff during the 3-day cruise, Falk said. He said that shortly after receiving the confirmation, the MSC immediately communicated to all passengers who had been on the same cruise that a fellow passenger had tested positive for the coronavirus upon her return home. We recommended that they look out for any flu-like symptoms and quickly report any cold or flu symptoms or fever to their local health authority and to their general practitioner. We also recommended they should continue to take a number of steps to reduce the risk of infection. MSC confirmed that there had been 3,337 people on board the ship, comprising 2,408 passengers and 929 crew members. It said the NICD, via Port Health, had since requested all passenger details in order to trace all of them. Ross said they had passengers from across the country. KwaZulu-Natal Health Department spokesperson Nolotunda Nkosi said all passengers have been advised of a patient on the cruise ship who tested positive. All provinces were given names of the passengers for follow-up in their respective regions. Those in KwaZulu-Natal have been contacted and testing and quarantine is ongoing. Nkosi added that there had been dedicated teams of tracers who were working to locate the passengers. She said, "The cruise liner provided us with a list of passengers which cuts out a lot of the work. The person who tested positive will also advise who she came in contact with." Meanwhile, luxury cruise liner Queen Mary II has not yet been given clearance to dock in the Durban port. The South African Maritime Safety Authority, or SAMSA, and Transnet National Port Authority said yesterday. The passenger vessel is presently outside the port of Durban and has asked for clearance to be allowed to dock in the port. There are also 6 South African crew members on board waiting to disembark. If approval is granted by the Department of Transport and the Port Health Unit of the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Health, the vessel will dock, refuel and disembark South Africa with the South African crew members before setting out for Southampton in the UK. The ship's operator, Cunard, earlier this month said it had ended its 3 international voyages due to the virus. The cruise liner was already on her way to South Africa when the government announced a ban on cruise ships. The Queen Mary II vessel is still awaiting clearance to dock, TNPA General Manager for the Port of Durban, Moshi Motio, said. SAMSA spokesperson Tebongo Ramachi said that so far passengers on the ship had tested negative. So there you go, guys. Look, there's my message to you. Please, if you've prepped and don't have candles and firelighters, buy them today or buy them tomorrow, because I know it's nearly midnight your time. Buy them tomorrow, please, and buy a bunch of this stuff, okay? You could well find it really just gives you some hope at night. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. ring the bell to get the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, guys, please, please, please stay safe. Bye for now.